Hello everyone, and thanks for tuning into the Financial Investor channel. My name is Brent, and today we're going to be doing our stock market weekly recap for April 29th into the 3rd of May 2019. We're going to go quickly over last week's changes. We're going to go over the main forward indexes. We're going to take a look at stock futures, what stocks did here in the after hours, the entire S&P 500 movement for the week, financials, oil, silver, gold, bonds, and mortgage rates. Also, if you own Boeing, they recently had an accident, so we're going to cover a little bit of that here towards the end because it just happened over in Florida. So opening up on Monday, Boeing, if you bought it recently on a dip, you may be getting a better opportunity here. So if you are brand new to the channel, hit that subscribe button below. I do cover the stock market, dividends, entrepreneurship, real estate, personal finance. So I do a mix here. If you're interested in any of those topics, definitely hit the subscribe button. Drop me a comment below what you would like to hear more discussed here on the channel. And of course, if you do like the video, hit that thumbs up. I really appreciate all the feedback, the comments, and those thumbs up. And let's go ahead and get into the video. So last week we had some good movement. The S&P 500 was up 1.2%. The Dow Jones was flat last week at a negative 0.06. NASDAQ popped up, very nice, 1.85, and my portfolio was up last week 0.93%. So not quite keeping up with the S&P or the NASDAQ, but definitely beating out that Dow. Had a couple comments down here of other investors sharing their comments, their changes for the week. So I always appreciate that all feedback. I read and reply to all the comments out there, regardless of where it's at, either here on YouTube or on Facebook. I get it all. So S&P 500 this week, we have a 5-day change of up 0.2%. Up for the day, or up for the year, 17.5%. We did close at some all-time highs. We have had a bit of a pullback. Fed came out, rates remain unchanged, and right here, as the Fed, I forgot what the words were specifically, but the market just sold off hard, and opening on Thursday, continuing to sell off. There was a bit, you don't see a whole lot of volume down here. You see a lot of exiting volume here towards the end of the day, just a big sell-off, and the volume kind of went down and then just kind of continued to get bought back up. You can see here a little bit of buying here towards the end of the day, and on Friday ended up nearly 1% higher, erasing all of Wednesday and Thursday's losses for a total gain up 0.2%. So very good there on the S&P. The Dow Jones ended basically negative or flat for the week, down 0.14%. Had a little bit of earnings out there that kind of messed them up. So Wednesday and Thursday, same thing with Wednesday. They were high and fly, and then Fed came out, and that basically knocked all the indexes there. But they didn't recover a whole lot of their losses here, so they had a little bit of a bigger loss here, 0.61, 0.46, whereas this is 0.75. Okay, so both of these fairly even, 0.96 here and a little over 1% there. But Friday, they just didn't recover, and you're going to see that the Dow Jones will probably be off of the S&P and the NASDAQ due to the Boeing incident that took place here on Friday night. The NASDAQ up 0.22% this week, a little over what the S&P 500 performed. Our NASDAQ is in second place this week. We can see a little bit of downtrending on Tuesday. Here's a sell-off towards the end of Wednesday, continued, and then buying back up on Thursday here, midday. You can see a nice recovery on Friday, 1.58% on Friday. That was a lot of tech stocks out there. If you look at the S&P here, this is just one-day performance. Boeing or Berkshire came out. Warren Buffett said that Berkshire has bought up some Amazon. Amazon popped up 3.24%. You can see Intel coming back up 2.3%. We'll take a look at those here in just a minute. Now our winner for the week here is the Russell 2000. This one has been on a bit of a weaker of the past of all the indexes here. I don't actually track the Russell here. I do have it on my spreadsheet, which I'll go over here in a minute. But Russell did pop up higher, whereas just in the last few weeks it has been sort of mild, not really performing with the rest of the markets. Now up 1.4 for the week, up year to date 19.68. Still in second place there, right behind the NASDAQ, and then currently in front of the S&P. Now the Russell 2000 may continue to uptrend even further as the dollar stays pretty strong. It's been fairly strong. It did have a bit of a pullback this week. So stock futures currently positive And Tesla came out, I believe on Thursday, coming out that they're going to be making, now they would raise 2.3 billion. That actually caused them to spike. Tesla is obviously not here within the the S&P 500, but we can go over here and take a look here. So financials overall, they did do fairly well for the week. Let's just gonna go ahead and okay, so taking a look here at the S&P 500, this is Friday. So all the sectors except for if you're over in technology, multimedia, Activision Blizzard came out. They had a bit of a mix there. So I believe they actually did fairly well. I wasn't tracking Activision Blizzard. My buddy, he's a heavy gamer. He's been looking at Activision Blizzard, and down in the $40 range, I told him that was just probably his best bet. Now at 47, you can see it's losing a little bit of steam here, down 4.84%. EA Games down 2%. So this whole sector, that gaming sector, can be very cynical, and with their game releases, you know, the way that EA is, it can be pretty hard. Overall, healthcare bouncing back, financials bouncing back here on Friday. Tech stocks really jumped ahead. Microsoft 2.13, Google nearly 2%, Facebook 1.5. Amazon here's the big winner on Friday, up 3.24. Now for the week, you can see a little bit of red out there. Google, they beat their earnings, guided lower, I believe, is what caused them to have a sell-off around 10%. They've been on my radar. I'm not currently pulling the trigger with them because I posted over my Facebook page that currently I don't get free trades over on Merrill Edge. I had lost my sort of threshold that I needed. I needed a 3-month average of $50,000 or more in order to have free trades per month. And my threshold, my average fell below as I withdrew money out of the markets and out of different accounts, and my balance there dropped. So I don't get those free trades. So I've been a little bit slower as far as jumping into positions that I really don't want to hold long term. Google, great company, doesn't pay out a dividend in this current market. I feel more comfortable buying and holding companies that do continue to pay out dividends while still having that growth, because I'm buying it for the growth, recovery, out of value. While if it does downtrend a little bit more, I'll buy it more shares. I'll continue to get that dividend until in the future, when that value, that growth does take place, I'll have continued dividends and growth there along the way. Intel, ending for the week down 1.3%. You can take a look over here. Oils, basic materials, a couple stocks over there are kind of interesting. I've been checking out XOM, Exxon. That was one that I had been invested in the past. Now oil and gas has been coming down. Of all the energy out there, this whole sector over here has been hit pretty hard recently. So I have owned Exxon in the past, back in 2017. I haven't owned it since then. It does pay out a very nice dividend, and I am going to be doing a little bit more research on this one and see if it is something I would like to add into my portfolio or not. Cognizant, haven't heard of that specific one, down nearly 20% for the week there. Google, we've already sort of covered that. Triple M, downtrending this week, down additional 3.37%. I know they had a bit of a sell-off last week. You can see here for the end of the week, it is downtrending there towards a little bit of a sell-off towards the end of the week. GE up nearly 10% for the week. MetLife Insurance, kind of interesting there. Now jumping over to Tesla. Tesla had a very good week, ending on Thursday and Friday, both nearly a 4.5% on both of those days. 5-day change up 8.46%. I know there's a bunch of investors out there who are interested in Tesla. I owned Tesla a long time ago, back when I bought it around $300 and I sold it at $371. So that is how long ago that I've actually held it. Back when Tesla was in those 373, I believe it was like 373 at its highs back in the past when I sold it, but I sold it around 371. So I have held Tesla back in the past, way back there. Financial sector, positive this week. We can see here over on the S&P, JP Morgan, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, Citigroup, all positive by around 1.5% in that range for the week, helping the markets continue to chug higher. Financials were beat up back in 2018, 2019. They're recovering and they're pushing the market into these highs. And eventually, I think we'll actually continue to boil up. I don't see a whole lot of resistance. We had job numbers come out on Friday. The U3 numbers look very good. Low unemployment numbers. That really helped rally the markets here on Friday. Semiconductors, we already saw the NASDAQ semiconductors here up 1.72. So when you got financials out there, you got semiconductors out there doing very well, you're going to see the overall market do pretty positive. Home builders jumped up very nice this week, 2.62%. Not sure if that's related to the job numbers or just home builders in general. I don't follow a lot of the news within the sector. I know a couple of the different markets that I look at as far as real estate. Their prices have been downtrending. So a couple of them have been uptrending. A couple of them have been downtrending. So it's been mixed out there. So this is kind of an interesting one, up 2.62. Oil down for the week 1.68%. Got hit Wednesday and Thursday. Now Thursday, big hit, down 3%. We'll talk a little bit about that. Thursday, oil prices dropped on Thursday, pulled down by record U.S. crude production. So big reason that it fell 3% was just a record high of U.S. crude production, which caused a surge in stockpiles. And the oil futures were at 71.81 per barrel, and just fell 3% down to 63.33 per barrel. So big drop off there, and that's what caused that big sell off there on Thursday. Just in the oil sector, down 3.03% for that specific day, and overall for the week, down around 1.68. Dollar this week got to some highs of 98 and some change here. Right towards the beginning of the week, before kind of selling off towards the end, it was at some very highs up here, over 98.07, somewhere in that range. It did have a bit of a downtrend until the Fed came out. Hey, we're going to leave rates the same. You can see that dollar spike very quickly, up nearly 50 cents immediately after the Fed came out. And on Friday, job numbers, I'm not sure what caused this bit of a drop there on the dollar, but it's kind of interesting the way that the dollar there moves. Silver and gold both down this week, along with bonds. Silver down nearly 8%, putting it below 14. Normally at this $14 point, you'll see a lot of volume. So here is that $14 point. You can see the heavy volume here on Wednesday, buying up that silver or possibly selling it off as it is declining. This could be a bit of a sell-off. And then big uptrend, gap up on Friday from these low 1370s to putting it nearly over 14%, $14. And you can see here that it closed at 13.96. I'm not sure if I'm dyslexic or what's going on there, but gold down for the week as well, down 0.59%. Bonds down for the week, 5-day down 0.33%, and mortgage rates actually ticked back. Last week we had the 6-point basis, I believe, go forward, up. We were up 6 basis points last week. Now we're actually down 6 basis points, down to 4. Oh, it shows right here. We were at 4.36 a week ago. Now we're at 4.3, 6 basis points. So you can see rates remain unchanged. The mortgage rates actually pulled back a bit there. So that's not the Boeing news. This is the Boeing news. Let's go ahead and hit that refresh though, and let's go to Google. Google's always, yeah, there we go. So BA crash, Boeing crash. So let's see here, Boeing plane crash. So if you go and just type in Boeing plane crash, you're going to see that 4 hours ago, a Boeing 737 arriving from Guantanamo Bay crashes into the Florida River. So this is going to be causing a bit of a downtrend here on Monday. So when the markets open up here on Monday, you're going to more than likely see Boeing. I'm going to go ahead and pause this, and you guys can go ahead and stop, read through. Pause the video, read through it. There was 136 members on the plane. They encountered, they've all been accounted for, so it looks like there were a few minor injuries treated at the scene, but overall, 21 people were transported to the hospital in good condition. Plane was trying to land, it slid off the runway. So while not a big incident with Boeing themselves, because 737s have been on the media and on the news here lately, they were probably, even though it may not have been their fault, as the plane slid off the runway, you may see them, yeah, flew through thunderstorms. You can see here, flew through thunderstorms, slid off the runway. Probably was slick out there, raining. You can see thunderstorms cause them to have an incident there. So we'll see how Boeing takes a hit on Monday or not. Now, some of the posts that I made over here on Facebook, I made a mobile app out there. I have a couple mobile apps. If you have a Google device, I'd appreciate if you downloaded them, try them out. They're completely free. So I created a couple stock market magic balls, simple dividend calculator, simple retirement calculator, a couple of the few that are out there. Kraft Heinz got rocked here from the last several, 3-month period. Boeing, Kraft Heinz has came down 48.73%. And you can see here back from around October, just a bit of a downtrend. And then just recently out of the last 3 months here, back in January, it has had a big dip going from around that $50 point to now under $33, around that $33 point. So I did have some Monday buys. I bought up Cardinal Health, Triple M, Ultra, Walgreens, posted that there on the Facebook page. So Google got slammed here after hours on April 30th, down 7%. Apple came out. They broke below $200. I had a limit buy set up for Apple. That was my biggest miss there for the week. So my biggest miss for the week is I had a limit buy set up for Apple. It was downtrending. I calculated what price do I need to buy Apple in order to buy 47 shares and be able to actually buy it within my account. Okay, that came out to $198.90. That would put me at exactly 47 shares because I have to buy whole shares over at Merrill Edge. I executed it and I said, okay, here we go. Let's see what happens. Well, Apple fell. This is 5-day period in 1 minute. You can see Apple trended down for several days here. Here's Friday. Here's the end of Thursday going to Thursday. Here's Friday opening up. Here's Monday, Tuesday. Now on Tuesday, during the day, Apple downtrended all the way and actually broke below that $200 point. And I was thinking, my, I just need a slight dip there. Then I'm going to rack up 47 shares of Apple. Well, guess what happened? They closed at 201.42, and guess where Apple went after that? The after hours, they pulled out some really good earnings, jumped up nearly 10% in the after hours. So, yeah, Apple beat out by 4% after lowering their guidance. Back in the past, after hours they were at 5%, then they jumped up. It was up 5% to about $210 share price. They did go higher for the week up to 214. They downtrended back and forth just within that range of 210, 214. So, end of the month. So April ended, the S&P 500, when I did my calculations, I did my whole end of the month video comparison or video for M1 Finance. So the S&P 500 put on 3.89, the Dow Jones put on 2.55, the NASDAQ put up 4.67, the Russell 2000 put up 3.32, and my portfolio, between all my portfolios, put up 4.95%. That's across the board, and I'm not sure if I posted a comment down here. I did. So my IRA was up 8.85, my Roth IRA 14.06, my thrift savings plan was up 3.97, my Roth 401k, the true value, which just means I counted the match percentage as my own contribution. I was up 3.75% for the month. If I counted the match that my company makes as my own contribution, but if I just counted the match as just free capital that was gained without having been deposited by myself, it was up 6.39. My wife's Roth IRA over to M1 up 2.01. My wife's individual account 3.95. And overall, when I calculated the differences between where I started with equity, where I ended with equity, and I subtracted what equity I added for the month to the total, I ended up with a difference there of 4.95%. Last dividends for April, I got paid out here on the last day. JP Morgan 349 and Altria up 843. That put me at a total for the month of $44 and some change for the month of April, and I posted it all here. I did my whole video covering this. So in the month of April from M1 Finance, they paid out $44.68. Compared to last year, I was in the $20 range. So I'm thinking sometime next year I should be maybe in the $60 to $100 range at the same time. next year. We shall see there. Google continuing to climb down near its 200-day moving average. Now, Google did jump up here on Friday. We already sort of saw that here towards the one day here. We can see Google for the day up nearly 2%. I have been considering Google, but it would not be a position I would probably buy for the long term. There were a couple other investor comments here that they want it below 1100. I believe that would be a little bit lower than where it would actually fall to. That would be about average for the past 3 months. They would have lost, half of what they made over the last few months here, year to date. So I don't believe Google's going to be downtrending that much. My biggest position that I've made as far as return, not equity, my return has been Tatron Components. This is one over on my Merrill Edge portfolio. Went up 16.89% today, up so far since I started investing in this one, 246.13%. But I only own 2 shares of that one, so very interesting one there. I went over, I haven't made a video on this. I'm not sure if you guys would like videos going over my hustles, like what sort of income do I generate from not my W-2 job. So I have a salary job, but outside of my W-2 job, I have YouTube, I have my website, I have different affiliates that I'm affiliated with. So all of that combined, plus my applications and such, I generated about $577.56 as far as what I was tracking for the month of April. So those are all sort of on there, just kind of screenshots I thought I would share. And then here towards the top, we have this week's changes for the week. We have the stock market changes for April 29th through May 3rd, 2019. S&P we already covered, up 0.20%. The Dow Jones down 0.14%. The NASDAQ up 0.22%. My portfolio overall 0.77% for the week. So pretty good recovery. And it was Emil who had pointed me over to the possibility of Boeing taking a hit here on Monday. So shout out to that specific individual there. So that is basically all I posted over on the pages. So that is basically it and all I wanted to cover. So that is it. Thank you all for tuning in. Again, if you are not yet subscribed to the channel, I do cover stock market, dividends, and entrepreneurship. Definitely hit that subscribe button below. If you did enjoy the video, hit that thumbs up. If you have any comments, questions, would like anything covered, topics, whether it's over stock market, dividends, personal finance, real estate, entrepreneurship, drop it in the comment section. I read and reply to all your comments. I would like to get an idea of what my audience would like to hear more of. So that is pretty much it. Thank you all for tuning in. I will see you next time. Have a great day. Bye.